The Steam Deck has been an absolutely revolutionary device for me. It simply can't be overstated how it has changed me as a gamer. Let's get into it. Growing up as a console gamer and spending the last 7 or 8 years on this journey of, absolutely being passionate about discovering games, finding the games that I missed out on through those early years of adulthood when I was, working 80 hours a week and raising a young family and stuff. I missed out on so much. And when I came back to gaming in the last 7 years or so, I've really been focusing on the console games that I missed. I was never really a Steam gamer. I had a couple games on Steam that I checked out here and there. I had a couple games on Origin, a couple games on Epic, but I didn't really play PC games or, other than a couple of MMOs, your World of Warcraft, Dark Orbit, a couple games like that didn't really require Steam. But I have never really been a PC gamer, so to speak. When the Steam Deck was announced, and I got the idea that this was going to be a consoleized experience for your Steam library, I was super, super excited, but I had no idea what I was getting into when I put that $5 pre-order down. It was absolutely just a risk, something that I felt in my soul that I was going to love. I put that $5 down and I waited and I waited and I finally got my Steam Deck at the beginning of Q2, which I was quite lucky to do because I got my pre-order in very early. And now I have the 512 Steam Deck and I'm very, very happy with it. But I wanted to talk today about how the Steam Deck has changed the way that I purchase video games. I have for a very, very long time been a video game collector. I've had shelves behind me in my videos full of video games, from the GameCube, the Wii, the PS1, the PS2, so many different systems, PS3. I have collection videos on this channel going back years talking about all of the game pickups that I've made. 40 or 50 games here, 20 or 30 games there. Every month I was out thrifting, garage sailing, going to game stores and buying 10, 20, 30 games every month. And just stocking my shelves full of things that I missed out on in that period of time, particularly through the early 2000s and the early 2010s. I missed out on so much of that gaming. So I was collecting like crazy during that time over the last 7 or 8 years. And I came to a place last year where I was starting to feel overwhelmed with my backlog, and I actually sold a whole bunch of stuff and really focused down on a couple of systems, primarily the Switch, the 3DS, and the PS4. And I've been enjoying my journey with those consoles. I got a PS5 several months ago, about 6 months ago now, and I've been enjoying playing mostly PS4 games on the PS5, to be honest, because there's not that many great PS5 games out there as of yet that I'm interested in. But when this Steam Deck arrived, that ignited a whole new passion for me. Steam, and the funny thing is, I'm not really playing traditional PC games. What I'm most excited about is, again, a lot of these games from 2012, 2014, 2008, games in that era made by console developers, big developers like Capcom, Square Enix. I'm absolutely loving exploring some of these console games in a handheld form factor now, because I absolutely love the handheld form factor. I like to sit on the couch at night, put a TV show in the background, something low commitment like The Office or CSI or something like that, and just play games. And to be able to sit down and play something like Final Fantasy 13 handheld, or right now I'm playing Capcom's Remember Me, a game that nobody talks about that I absolutely love. It's just got this really cool traversal system similar to the first Uncharted game, or maybe Assassin's Creed, where you're doing all kinds of crazy wall climbing and stuff like that. It's a neat game. I'll be talking about that in a later video, actually. But playing a game like this, it looks better than it ever looked on something like the Xbox 360 or even the Xbox One. It looks fantastic. The Steam Deck makes things look great. It makes older games run absolutely fantastically. I can't believe how well Final Fantasy 13 is running. That game was known to be glitchy, especially on the PS3, and it's just running absolutely perfectly, and it looks amazing. The graphics in that game still hold up today. They're absolutely gorgeous. The combination of art style and graphics that they had in that game. So how has this changed my buying habits? Well, now I'm not going out thrifting anymore, like hardly ever. I'm not looking for old Wii games. I'm not looking for old PS3 games. What I'm doing is I'm buying a Steam card at the gas station every 3 or 4 days, and I'm going and spending $20 or $50, whatever I can afford, and picking up all kinds of digital titles on the Steam Deck. Now, I do buy digital titles on the Nintendo Switch, and we should talk about the Nintendo Switch because I have had a love affair with the Nintendo Switch for the last 3 years or so that I got it. I got a Switch in well, I guess it's been two years and a bit. I got the Switch in early 2020, just before the pandemic hit. And I've had an absolute love affair with the Nintendo Switch, with the idea of being able to play what we thought of at the time as console games on a portable console, because I absolutely love portable consoles, and the Switch did a lot of things pretty well. To be able to play something like Doom Eternal or The Witcher 3 or The Outer Worlds, even though they weren't the best ports, to be able to play those games portably was fantastic. And then the Switch is wonderful and arguably still better than Steam as far as the indie scene goes. There seems to be a lot more good indie games on the Switch than I've been able to find on Steam, although there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of things that are on both systems. But even now, when I hear something, this recent Nintendo Indie Direct that we had just a week ago or so, I was only interested in a couple of games, and I immediately went to my Steam Deck to see if they were also available there. A game that I'm very interested in picking up, and I'm probably going to pick up in the next day or so. I believe it was called Soundforge. It's this kind of dungeon crawler where you do the combat to music, to a rhythm, and that's not a completely original concept. We've seen some stuff like that with Crypt of the Necrodancer and things like that, but this one looks particularly interesting to me because of the kind of Diablo-style combat, and the graphics and stuff look gorgeous, and I was thinking of picking it up on the Switch, but now I kind of want to get it on the Steam Deck because, the Switch, God bless its heart, I absolutely love the Switch, but it feels like a Fisher-Price toy in my hands now. The library is still fantastic. There are so many great things to recommend about the Switch, but at the end of the day, the form factor holding the Switch in my hands feels like a Fisher-Price toy. And I have now docked my Switch, and it's probably going to stay docked and just be a Nintendo platform. Because in any way that I possibly can, every purchase I make going forward is now a Steam card. I'm not buying physical games. I'm not, I'm going out, buying a Steam card, and trying my hand at anything that I even remotely recognize as something I might be wanting to play. I am playing it on the Steam Deck. What about you out there? I'd be curious to know how many of you have a huge Steam library already, or are interested, now that you have a Steam Deck, in building that library and experiencing things in this way. Because the Steam Deck, although it doesn't have an OLED screen, for some reason everything looks better that I'm playing, like so much better than it does on the Switch. So tell me in the comments, guys, what games are you playing that are blowing your mind right now? Because I just can't get over how impressed I am with this machine. Game after game after game that I buy that runs at least 30 frames a second, if not 60. I'm looking forward to that 40 frames per second patch coming to the stable channel, because I think that's really going to help out too, to raise the bar in terms of how some of the games perform. But anyway, let me know down in the comments what your opinion is on this topic. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay classy.